You didn't arrive here by accident. Something in you paused, leaned in, and said, listen. Not because you were curious, but because you needed reassurance. You couldn't quite name. When life feels loud and answers feel far away, moments like this become a doorway. Step gently. You're exactly where you need to be. There are days when you keep going simply because stopping feels unsafe. You hold your composure, meet expectations, smile when needed, yet inside, something feels tender and unseen. This message isn't here to push you forward. It's here to meet you where you are without asking you to be stronger. You may have been questioning yourself lately, wondering if you're behind, if you missed something important, if you should already feel better by now. Those questions don't mean you're failing. They mean you care. They mean your inner world is ready for a different kind of conversation. Listen closely to how your body responds when pressure eases. Shoulders soften, breath deepens, the mind slows just enough to feel. This is not weakness, it's intelligence returning. When you stop demanding answers, clarity has room to arrive on its own. Sometimes what you need most is not advice, but permission. Permission to feel what you feel without fixing it. Permission to rest without guilt. Permission to trust that you are unfolding at the right pace, even when you can't see the whole path yet. There is a kindness available to you right now that doesn't require effort. It doesn't need you to understand it. It simply asks that you allow it to be present. Let these words land gently. Let them sit with you, not over you. If you take nothing else from this moment, take this. You matter more than you realize. Your feelings are valid. Your timing is not wrong. And whatever you've been carrying alone no longer has to be carried alone. This is for you, and you are ready to receive it. There is something very tender about moments like this. You may not have planned to sit here. You may not have known you needed it. Yet something in you paused. Something reached. Something leaned toward comfort. You responded without even knowing why. That is your inner wisdom guiding you gently to a place where your heart can rest. Often we believe we arrive in certain moments by chance, but I have learned over many years that nothing important happens by accident. When life feels confusing or loud, we are quietly guided towards stillness. Stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is invitation. It is life's way of saying, come sit with yourself. There is something here for you. You may feel as though you have been moving quickly through your days, doing your best to hold everything together, and yet, without trying, you find yourself here listening, breathing, allowing. This letting in is not weakness, it is readiness. It is your heart saying, I am tired of pretending I don't need support. Your body knows before your mind does when something needs gentleness. It may tighten or grow warm or feel heavy. These sensations are not signs of failure. They are signals that your inner world has been working far too hard without relief. And now, in this moment of pause, the body begins to soften, grateful to finally be heard. You may have been questioning yourself lately, wondering if you should be stronger, if you should be farther along, if you should feel differently than you do. But all those shoulds come from an old way of living. You are stepping into a new way now, a way that begins with compassion instead of judgment. There is no right pace for healing. There is no perfect moment to discover clarity. What matters is that you are here. That is the only requirement. When the heart wants guidance, it finds its way to gentleness. And gentleness is what you are receiving now. Notice how your breath moves as you listen to these words. Not because you are controlling it, but because your breath recognizes safety. When pressure eases, the breath deepens naturally. This is one of life's quiet miracles. The body knows how to return to peace without being told how. You do not need to understand everything right away. You do not need to solve anything tonight. There is wisdom in simply being present. Sometimes the answers we search for arrive only when we stop demanding them. Clarity unfolds slowly, like dawn light spreading across a quiet sky. There may be a part of you that feels unsure about slowing down, a part that has been taught to keep going no matter what, a part that fears what might rise if you pause long enough to listen inwardly. But I want you to know something very important. You are safe in this pause. Nothing inside you is too much for you to meet gently. You have spent so much time caring for others, meeting expectations, comforting, supporting, showing up. And while that is beautiful, your heart needs tending too. Tonight, let these words care for you the way you have cared for so many. Sometimes the most profound healing happens not when we try to change ourselves, but when we finally stop trying to be different. When we allow ourselves to be exactly who we are in this moment, tender, uncertain, hopeful, tired, human, there is nothing wrong with any of it. It is all welcome here. You did not come here to perform strength. You came here to feel supported, to breathe without pressure, to listen without fear, to rest without guilt. These are simple things, yet they have the power to change the way your heart moves through the world. Let yourself feel the quiet around you. Let it settle into your shoulders, your jaw, your hands. Let the quiet remind you that you are allowed to stop. Life continues even when you rest. In fact, life supports you more fully when your inner world finds gentleness. You may sense a subtle shift happening already, a loosening, a softening, a small uncoiling deep within. This shift is your body responding to truth. Truth is not loud, truth is not forceful. Truth is a warm presence that says you are doing your best and your best is enough. Tonight is not about becoming someone new. Tonight is about remembering yourself. Remembering the part of you that knows how to breathe easily. Remembering the part that trusts life's timing. Remembering the part that has always deserved kindness. When you allow yourself to rest in this knowing, even for a few minutes, something remarkable happens. The weight you've been holding begins to lighten, not because it has been solved, but because you are no longer holding it alone. Your heart shares it with life, and life receives it lovingly. You do not need to force anything to change. You do not need to hurry toward healing. You simply need to stay present with yourself in this gentle way. And as you do, the path ahead will reveal itself softly, without pressure, without fear, without urgency. Stay with this moment. Let it meet you. Let it hold you. Let it remind you that you are exactly where you need to be. There is a kind of tiredness that does not show on the face. It lives quietly inside the chest, in the soft places where you hold everything that has gone unspoken. You may have learned to keep moving, to keep smiling, to keep meeting the world, even when your inner world felt fragile. And because you carried yourself so well, others may never have known how much effort it took. For many years, you may have felt that showing strength was the safest thing to do. Perhaps you were taught that being vulnerable meant being unprepared, or that letting others see your tenderness made you open to hurt. So you learned to be steady even when your heart trembled. You learned to hold composure even when you longed for comfort. But you do not need to perform strength right now. Not here, not in this moment, not with yourself. Strength is not the absence of softness. Strength is the ability to remain gentle even while the world asks you to be firm. And right now, your heart is asking to be met with understanding, not expectation. You may have believed that people would only accept you if you appeared unshaken. Yet the most healing thing you can offer yourself is honesty. Honesty that whispers, I am tired. Honesty that admits, I have been carrying too much. Honesty that allows you to say, I need gentleness more than I need solutions. Let that honesty rise in you now. You are safe enough for it. You are strong enough for it. Your body feels the relief of being acknowledged. The shoulders drop because they no longer need to pretend. The breath deepens because it no longer needs to hold silence. The heart softens because it no longer needs to hide. When you stop performing strength, you begin receiving support. And support is what your spirit has been longing for. I want you to imagine the version of yourself who was carried the most, who stood up when they wanted to fall, who gave when they felt empty, who kept going because they believed stopping was not an option. That version of you is still here, still doing their best, still waiting for the moment someone says, you don't have to be so strong right now. Let me say that to you clearly. You don't have to be so strong right now. Rest in those words. Rest in their truth. Rest in the permission they offer. The heart becomes exhausted, not from feeling too much, but from being asked to feel alone. When you allow yourself to be seen even inwardly, by yourself, you lift a burden the heart was never meant to carry without gentleness. You may notice a warmth spreading through your chest as these words reach you. That warmth is recognition. Your heart is recognizing truth. Your body is recognizing safety. Your spirit is recognizing that it is allowed to soften. So many people live behind emotional armor for years. They become experts at appearing composed while their inner world quietly aches. But armor is heavy. And the moment you allow yourself to set it down, even slightly, your whole being begins to breathe again. Let your armor loosen here. You do not need it. You are not being judged. You are not being evaluated. You are not being compared. You are being held. You are being met. You are being supported. You may feel uncertainty rise as the armor softens because it has been with you for so long. But uncertainty is simply the body adjusting to freedom. Freedom to be gentle. Freedom to be human. Freedom to stop holding everything together. If tears come, let them. Tears are the body's way of releasing what the heart has carried too long. They are cleansing, not weakening. They soften what has become tight. They open what has become closed. They make room for peace. And if nothing comes, that is all right too. Some hearts soften quietly, without visible signs. What matters is your willingness to be present with yourself without trying to appear stronger than you feel. You do not need to impress anyone here. You do not need to succeed at resting. You do not need to do this right. You only need to allow this moment to meet you. I want you to know something deeply true. You are deserving of comfort. You are deserving of gentleness. You are deserving of being seen without performing anything. There is nothing wrong with needing care. There is nothing wrong with feeling tender. There is nothing wrong with asking for support in your own quiet way. As you let these truths sink in, feel how the heart expands with relief. The heart is not meant to be a stone. It is meant to be soft, to feel, to move, to open. And it opens most naturally when met with kindness. You've spent so much of your life carrying yourself. Now let yourself experience being carried through breath, through presence, through these gentle words settling warmly around you. In the next part, we will explore the deeper wisdom behind your questioning and why your doubts are not signs of failure, but signs of readiness. But for now, just let yourself be here, without masks, without armor, without pressure. You are seen, you are supported, and you are safe to feel as you feel. There comes a time in every heart when the old ways of being no longer feel steady, yet the new ways have not fully formed. In that in-between space, you may find yourself questioning everything: your choices, your timing, your worth, your direction. And because these questions feel uncomfortable, you may believe something is wrong with you. But questioning yourself does not mean you are failing. It means you are awakening. Self-doubt often rises not because you are lost, but because you are growing. Growth shakes loose the old patterns that once kept you safe. It invites you to see yourself more clearly. And clarity, before it feels comforting, often feels unsettling. You are not doing anything wrong by feeling this way. You are doing something very human, something very wise. You see, the heart asks its questions when it knows something tender is ready to be understood. These questions do not come to punish you. They come to open you. They come to make space for a kinder truth. They come to soften the places where you once held yourself too tightly. You may have told yourself, I should be farther along, or I should feel better by now, or other people seem to handle this better than I do. But those thoughts are not truth. They are echoes of old expectations, and they are the remnants of a voice that measures worth by progress instead of presence. I want you to gently release the belief that you must reach some imagined destination before you are allowed to rest. You do not need to earn peace. You do not need to prove your readiness. You do not need to hurry your healing. Healing does not follow a clock. It follows honesty. And honesty is blooming in you now. The questions inside you are not signs of weakness. They are signs that something within is ready to shift. When a flower presses against the soil before it emerges, we do not say it is failing. We understand that it is preparing. You are preparing to see yourself with more love, more compassion, more truth. Notice how your breath changes when you allow yourself to be patient with your own doubts. Notice the warmth that rises in your chest when you say inwardly, it's all right that I don't know everything yet. That warmth is acceptance. Acceptance is one of the greatest healers. The world may have taught you that certainty is strength, but certainty is simply a moment. What you are learning now is steadiness, a steadiness that remains even when answers have not yet arrived. Steadiness grows from trust, not knowledge. And trust is formed through gentleness. You may have been taught to push your doubts away, to silence them, to replace them with positivity. But doubts do not disappear through resistance. They fade when they feel understood. They soften when you say to yourself, I hear you and you do not frighten me. Your doubts are not your enemies. They are small parts of you that have been afraid of making mistakes, afraid of being judged, afraid of being unprepared. These parts deserve compassion, not rejection. When you offer compassion inwardly, your doubts no longer dominate your mind. They become gentle guides. Imagine saying to yourself, it's all right to not have the answer yet. Feel what happens inside when those words settle. Something eases, something loosens, something opens. This is what happens when you stop treating your uncertainty as a flaw. You are not meant to know everything at once. Life unfolds in layers, in seasons, in quiet waves of understanding. Some lessons reveal themselves slowly, not because you are slow to learn, but because your heart becomes ready piece by piece. This is tenderness at work. Every time you question yourself, you are revealing your desire to live truthfully. You care, and caring is not a mistake. Caring is a sign of depth, a sign of presence, a sign of a heart that wants to grow in the right direction. You may also feel frustrated with yourself for not moving faster or feeling clearer, but frustration is often a sign that something inside is shifting. It is the friction of change. It is the sound of old beliefs loosening their hold. Let yourself be gentle with this friction. It is not here to stop you. It is here to reshape you. Your path is not behind schedule. Your heart is not behind schedule. You are not behind schedule. You are unfolding exactly as you need to, exactly as life intends for you. The idea that healing must happen quickly is a misunderstanding. Healing happens when the heart feels safe enough to release what has been held. That safety is what we are building in this moment, breath by breath, word by word, softness by softness. Trust that your questions are bringing you toward truth, not away from it. Trust that your uncertainty is an opening, not a closing. Trust that your heart knows more than your fears allow it to say. As we continue, you will learn how your body responds when it no longer feels rushed, and how clarity begins to appear when you make room for tenderness instead of pressure. But for now, simply rest in this. Your questions are not a sign that you are failing. They are a sign that you are finally listening to yourself. And that is one of the most courageous things you will ever do. There is a special kind of clarity that comes only when the body feels safe. You may think that understanding begins in the mind, but the truth is, The body speaks first. It whispers through tightness, through heaviness, through breath that doesn't travel all the way down. And when pressure lifts even slightly, the body responds with a quiet sigh of relief. You may feel that sigh now, perhaps as warmth in your chest, or the loosening of muscles you did not realize were tense. These small shifts are not accidents. They are signals. Signals that your body recognizes you are no longer demanding answers from it, no longer pushing it to perform strength, no longer rushing it into clarity. Throughout your life, your body has carried far more than it has ever been acknowledged for. It has moved you through days when your heart felt fragile. It has kept you breathing through moments when you felt uncertain. It has stayed loyal even when you felt disconnected from yourself. Your body has always been doing its best to protect you. And yet, the body grows weary when it senses constant pressure. It tightens. It guards. It holds emotions that never had a moment to be felt. It gathers worry in the stomach, fear in the chest, tension in the neck and shoulders. None of this is wrong. It is simply the body saying, I am trying to keep you safe. But tonight, something different is happening. The body feels you slowing. It feels you softening. It feels you listening. And when the body feels heard, it releases slowly, safely, naturally. You do not need to command the body to relax. Relaxation is not an instruction. It is a response. It happens when the heart knows it is allowed to rest. Notice your breath now, not to change it, but to observe it. The breath tells the truth. When you are frightened, it quickens. When you are overwhelmed, it becomes shallow. When you are pretending to be strong, it tightens. And when you are finally supported, it deepens. Feel the breath moving gently through you, not by force, but by nature. You are not doing anything wrong by breathing slowly. You are returning to yourself. The body has its own wisdom, older than your thoughts, older than your reactions, older than your doubts. It remembers who you were before fear took up so much space. It remembers the ease you felt when you were younger, before the world taught you to hold everything in. And tonight, your body is guiding you back to that memory. Let yourself notice any place within you that feels softer. It might be your belly, relaxing because it no longer feels the need to brace. It might be your throat, unclenching because it no longer feels silenced. It might be your hands, loosening because they no longer feel the need to hold so tightly. These sensations are not small. They are the beginnings of deep healing. Your emotions, too, may feel different in this softened state. Feelings rise when the body knows it is safe enough to feel them. This is not a sign of breaking. This is a sign of opening. Opening is the opposite of collapsing. Opening is courage. You may notice certain feelings drift upward gently: sadness, relief, longing, gratitude, tenderness. Let them pass through you like waves on soft sand. They are not here to harm you. They are here to complete their journey. When the body is not pressured, it does not hold emotions hostage. It lets them move. There is wisdom in the quiet spaces of your physical being, wisdom in the breath that deepens, wisdom in the warmth that spreads, wisdom in the stillness that arrives without effort. This wisdom does not use words, but it speaks clearly. It tells you when something is too much. It tells you when you need rest. It tells you when a situation feels unkind. It tells you when you are pushing yourself beyond your limits. And it tells you when it's time to return home to yourself. You may have ignored these signals for years, not because you were careless, but because you had responsibilities, expectations, promises to keep. But your body never stopped speaking. And now, as pressure lifts, you are finally able to hear it. Let yourself rest into this listening, listening without urgency, listening without correction, listening with kindness. Kindness is what the body has been asking for all along. As you tune into this softness, you will notice that your mind becomes quieter too. The mind does not need to race when the body is calm. The mind does not need to warn when the heart feels supported. The mind does not need to rush when the spirit feels held. Peace is not created. Peace is revealed when tension dissolves. And you are dissolving tension now, not by force, but by presence. You do not need to know the next step tonight. You do not need to make a decision. You do not need to figure anything out. Your body is guiding you toward trust. Trust that clarity emerges naturally. Trust that wisdom grows in silence. Trust that life speaks most clearly when you stop demanding answers. As we move into the next part, you will learn how emotions settle and how permission becomes the doorway to deeper healing. But for this moment, let your breath be your anchor. Let your body be your teacher. Let your softness be your strength. You are listening now. Your body knows it, and your heart is thanking you in its quiet, steady way. There is a gentle truth I want you to hear. You do not need to fix anything you feel. Not tonight, not in this moment, not in the quiet place where your heart already knows that rest is far more healing than correction. You have worked so hard to manage your emotions, to keep them tidy, to keep them from spilling into places you thought they didn't belong. But feelings do not disappear through management. They soften through permission. So many people believe they must understand a feeling before they're allowed to have it. They try to name it quickly, analyze it, organize it, solve it. But emotions are not puzzles. They are currents, gentle or strong, that move through the body when the inner world is ready. And tonight, your inner world is ready, not for fixing, but for allowing. Let yourself feel the relief of that, the relief of not needing answers, the relief of not having to transform your sadness into wisdom, the relief of not needing to brighten your experience. Life does not ask you to pretend. Life asks you to be present. You may have been taught that certain feelings are inconvenient or too heavy, or that they burden the people around you, so you learn to tuck them away, to smile through them, to hold them quietly. Those habits protected you once, but you are no longer living in the moment that required you to hide your heart. Right now, in this place, with these words, you are allowed to feel whatever you feel without apology, without rush, without trying to make anything more graceful than it is. If the heart aches, let it ache gently. If the mind feels tired, let it rest. If the spirit feels uncertain, let it be uncertain. All of it is welcome. All of it is human. All of it is part of your sacred unfolding. When you give yourself permission to feel, the heart begins to exhale. It loosens its grip around emotions it once had to hold tightly. It releases its old fear of being judged or misunderstood. It opens a small door, just enough for light and warmth to enter. This opening does not need to be wide. Even a small opening transforms everything inside. You may notice emotions moving within you in very subtle ways. A wave of warmth behind the sternum, a slight tremble in the breath, a tenderness in the eyes, a heaviness in the hands. These sensations are not signs of distress. They are signs of truth being allowed to exist. Truth does not overwhelm. Truth reveals. Truth rests. Feelings are not enemies. They are messengers. And once the message is delivered, once the emotion has had the chance to be acknowledged, it no longer needs to shout. It settles peacefully, like dust falling gently in a quiet room. You do not need to justify why you feel as you do. You do not need to earn your sadness. You do not need to explain your tenderness. You are simply allowed to feel. Let yourself imagine that every feeling you have been holding is now sitting beside you like a small child who has been waiting shyly for your attention. When you turn toward these feelings, they do not run away, they soften. They say, "Thank you for noticing me." Your heart becomes stronger when you let it speak. Your spirit becomes brighter when you let it breathe. Your body becomes lighter when you let it release. Feeling does not make you fragile. Feeling makes you real. And being real is the beginning of healing. Many people fear their emotions because they imagine they will be swept away by them. But emotions, when met with kindness, rise and fall naturally. The wave comes and the wave goes. You remain, you breathe, you soften. You stay whole. You may notice that as you allow your emotions, your breath becomes steadier. The breath knows when the heart is finally being honored. This steadiness is a sign that your inner world is aligning with truth, not dramatic truth, not spiritual lessons, but simple truth. I feel what I feel, and that is all right. Let those words settle. Say them to yourself gently. It is all right for me to feel this. This sentence alone can change your relationship with yourself. It is an act of self-love, a declaration of freedom. A reminder that you are not here to perform emotional perfection. If you feel emptiness, let it be hollow and soft. If you feel longing, let it rise like warm air from the center of your chest. If you feel gratitude, let it glow quietly without needing to be expressed. Nothing within you needs to be rushed into silence. Nothing within you needs to be reshaped before it can be accepted. You may begin to notice how deeply the body relaxes when you stop resisting what is present. It is the resistance, not the emotion, that exhausts you. Resistance tightens the muscles, quickens the breath, raises the heartbeat. Permission, however, loosens everything. It invites the body to cooperate with the heart. Tonight, let your emotions be companions rather than burdens. Let them walk beside you instead of behind you. Let them speak softly instead of crying out for your attention. In the next part, we will explore the gentle trust that emerges when you stop fighting your feelings and begin trusting life again. But for now, rest in the simplest truth. You are allowed to feel without fixing. You are allowed to rest without explaining. You are allowed to be exactly as you are. Your tenderness is not a problem to solve. It is a truth to honor. There is something very comforting that happens when you stop treating life as a force you must outrun. For so long, you may have felt as though life was moving ahead of you, pulling you forward faster than you could catch your breath. You may have felt pressured to keep pace, to always be ready, to never fall behind. But life does not stand above you with demands. Life walks beside you, step by gentle step. Let yourself take that in. Life has never been against you. Even in moments of confusion or delay, life has been quietly rearranging things on your behalf. Sometimes paths must clear. Sometimes timing must shift. Sometimes your heart needs time to grow before it can receive what it is asking for. None of this means you are behind. It means you are being guided. You do not need to force the next chapter into being. You do not need to push for clarity. You do not need to rush healing. Clarity is patient. Healing is patient. Life is patient. When you slow down enough to feel your breath, you begin to sense that life is not pushing you, it is holding you. It is shaping your steps with care. It is supporting you in ways that may be invisible now, but will become clear in time. You may have been taught that control keeps you safe. You may have believed that if you could only plan the future or predict the outcome, you would finally feel at ease. But control is exhausting. Control narrows your vision. Control makes life heavy. Trust, however, lightens everything. Trust does not require certainty. Trust grows from softness. Trust begins with letting yourself be supported in small ways. When you trust life, even a little, you open space for miracles that struggle cannot create. You may sense a quiet warmth spreading through you now. Not excitement, not anticipation, just a gentle ease. This ease means the heart is beginning to trust again. The heart recognizes that it is no longer carrying itself alone. Something larger, wiser, and kinder is helping. Life moves with you, especially when you slow to your natural pace. You may begin to notice small signs of support. A moment of unexpected calm, a thought that feels reassuring rather than fearful, a sense that you have more time than you believed, a softening in your chest when you release urgency. These are not random. These are life's gentle ways of saying, I am here with you. You are not required to struggle to be worthy of guidance. Life guides you simply because you are part of it. Just as the tide carries every shell, every piece of driftwood, every grain of sand, life carries you. It moves you toward people, places, moments of understanding that you could not reach by effort alone. When you try to control every detail, you close yourself to these gentle currents. But when you soften even slightly, you begin to feel them supporting you. Let yourself imagine that you are standing in a slow, warm river. The water moves around you, not pulling, not pushing, simply carrying. That is how life moves, quietly, patiently, consistently. When you lean into the water, it supports your weight. When you relax your body, it holds you with ease. Life wants to hold you like that. You have not missed your moment. You have not fallen behind. You have not taken a wrong turn. Every experience has brought you closer to the wisdom you are beginning to feel now. Every pause, every doubt, every stumble has softened your heart in ways that allow support to enter more deeply. Trust is not something you achieve. Trust is something you allow, and allowing begins with breath. Feel the breath now, slow, steady, natural. This breath belongs to you. It carries your life. It carries your energy. It carries your peace. When you are aligned with your breath, you are aligned with life itself. Life does not punish you for resting. Life does not judge you for pausing. Life does not withhold goodness because you are tired. Life supports what is honest. Life supports what is true. Life supports what is gentle. And you are becoming gentler with yourself in this very moment. You may notice that as you soften into trust, your mind becomes quieter. The thoughts that once felt urgent now feel less demanding. The inner critic begins to loosen its grip. The heart becomes calmer. And in that calmness, you begin to see possibilities where previously there were only worries. This is how life speaks to those who listen, through quiet expansions, through gentle openings, through the simple realization that you no longer feel alone. Let yourself take in this truth. Life is on your side. Not in grand ways that require proof, but in everyday ways that bring peace. As we move into the next part, you will discover how to carry this softness into your daily life, how to live supported, not just feel supported in a single moment. But for now, rest in the knowing that you do not need to control life to trust it. Life moves with you, life supports you, and life always brings you where you need to be. There is a beautiful shift that begins to happen when you allow yourself to move through life with a softened inner voice. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself with sudden bursts of inspiration. It unfolds quietly, like petals opening in warm light. You begin to notice that your days feel gentler, your decisions feel steadier, and your heart feels less burdened by the weight of self-judgment. You may already feel the beginning of that shift now. Something inside you has relaxed. Something has loosened that once felt tight. And this softening is the first sign that you are learning to live supported, not simply to feel supported in a single moment. Living supported is different from receiving support. Receiving is something you allow for a moment. Living supported is a way of being. It means you carry kindness within you as a companion. It means you speak to yourself the way you would speak to a dear friend. It means you meet your own uncertainty with patience instead of pressure. You may not realize how powerful this shift truly is. When your inner voice becomes gentle, everything in your outer world responds. Tasks that once felt overwhelming become manageable. Relationships that once felt tense feel safer. Choices that once felt confusing become clearer. Life does not change overnight, but your experience of life does. Let yourself imagine how it feels to wake in the morning and not rush into self-doubt. to rise without criticizing yourself for what you did or did not do, to begin your day feeling supported instead of braced. That is where you are heading. And you do not reach this place through discipline. You reach it through practice, gentle practice, loving practice, quiet practice. Each time you choose a kinder thought, you strengthen this new way of being. Each time you soften instead of pressure yourself, your heart learns that it is finally safe. When your inner voice softens, you begin to feel companionship with yourself. You are no longer walking through life alone. You have someone with you who understands your fears, celebrates your courage, and comforts you through your doubts, and that someone is you. For so long, you may have waited for others to speak the words you needed. Now you are learning to speak them to yourself. You may have waited for others to reassure you. Now you are learning to reassure your own heart. You may have waited for others to give you permission to rest. Now you are learning to grant yourself that permission. This is not dependence, this is inner partnership. This is self-love in its truest form, warm, steady, reliable. You will notice that life feels less frightening when your inner voice becomes a place of comfort rather than criticism. Fear may still appear, but it will not overwhelm you. Doubt may still arise, but it will not define you. You meet these moments differently now, with gentleness instead of alarm. And gentleness is strong. Gentleness is wise. Gentleness is transformative. Many people believe that softness weakens them, but softness is what allows life to flow. It is rigidity that breaks. It is softness that bends, adapts, breathes, and survives with grace. You may begin feeling a new steadiness forming inside, a steadiness that does not depend on perfect circumstances or constant answers. It grows from the quiet truth that you can trust yourself. When you trust yourself, you trust your path. When you trust your path, life feels less like an obstacle and more like a companion. You may notice that others respond to you differently as well. People feel safe around those who are gentle with themselves. Your presence becomes calmer. Your words become kinder. Your energy becomes grounding. You begin offering comfort without forcing anything, simply by being aligned within. This is the natural expression of a supported heart. And soon, without even thinking about it, you will move through your days with more ease. You will pause when you need to. You will breathe when emotions rise. You will choose the softer thought when the old harsh one tries to return. You will speak to yourself as someone worth loving, because you are, and you always have been. You are not stepping into a new identity. You are returning to who you were before fear told you otherwise, before pressure hardened you, before doubt took up space, before life's noise drowned out your own inner knowing. You are coming home to yourself. Let yourself rest in that realization for a moment. Feel the warmth of it. Feel the truth of it. Feel how your whole body responds when you say inwardly, I am allowed to live supported now. You are allowed to take gentle steps. You are allowed to choose peace over pressure. You are allowed to trust life's rhythm. You are allowed to trust your heart's timing. And even on days when you forget, when you feel overwhelmed again, or uncertain, or discouraged, this softness will still be here. Support does not disappear. It waits patiently for your return. You can come back to this state with a single breath, with a single gentle thought, with a single moment of remembering, life loves me, and I am safe to be gentle with myself. This is the truth you are carrying forward. This is the truth that will shape your days. This is the truth that will transform your life from the inside out. You are stepping into a life where you are not alone, where you are not rushed, where you are not judged, where you are supported deeply, softly, and consistently. And as you walk forward with this new inner voice, your heart will whisper again and again, I am worthy of kindness. I am worthy of care. I am worthy of love. Because you are. You always have been. And now you finally feel it. As we come to the quiet close of our time together, I want to invite you into an even gentler space within yourself. There is no instruction here, no guidance, no movement you must make. This is a place for resting, for receiving, for being held the way your heart has longed to be held. You have traveled through many inner rooms tonight, places where your strength softened, places where your questions felt lighter, places where you allowed support to enter. And now you are ready to rest in the softest place of all, the place where nothing is required of you. Let yourself ease into this stillness. Let your breath fall into its natural rhythm. Let your shoulders relax a little more. Let your heart feel the safety of having nowhere else to be. For so long, you may have lived inside a world that rewarded effort, accomplishment, composure. A world that praised you when you kept going, even when going was difficult. But here, in this quiet space, you do not need to earn anything. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to rise to any expectation. You are simply allowed to be. You may not realize how precious it is to give yourself this permission. Many people live entire lives without knowing how to rest with themselves. They rest their bodies, yes, but they do not rest their hearts. Their minds continue moving, worrying, comparing, anticipating. But tonight, your heart is resting. Your mind is softening. Your spirit is settling. This is the healing that occurs when you stop performing strength and begin receiving comfort. Feel how your breath moves differently now. It has slowed, not because you forced it to, but because your body recognizes the safety of this moment. The breath always tells the truth. When it slows, it is because something inside you finally feels supported. You may notice a gentle warmth in your chest, or a quiet loosening behind your eyes, or a softness spreading through your belly. These sensations are your body's way of saying, "Thank you for being kind to me." The body responds to kindness more powerfully than it responds to anything else. Let that kindness deepen. Let it move through you like warm water flowing slowly into places that were once tense. Feel it filling the spaces that felt empty. Feel it soothing the areas that felt tight. Feel it washing through old fears and carrying them quietly away. You do not have to try to heal. Healing happens naturally when the heart feels safe. And right now, your heart feels safer than it has felt in a long time. You may think healing requires effort, but real healing is the opposite of effort. Real healing is surrender. Real healing is the moment you stop pushing and allow life to hold you. Life is holding you now. You can lean into that. You can trust that. You can rest in that. Let yourself imagine, just for a moment, that life has wrapped a warm blanket around your shoulders. Not a heavy blanket, just a soft one, comforting and familiar. Imagine life whispering gently, "You have done enough for now. Rest with me." Feel how your body responds to that invitation. Feel the relief of not having to hold yourself upright. Feel the comfort of not having to figure anything out. Feel the sweetness of simply being allowed to be human, with all your tenderness and uncertainty and hope. You are safe in this moment. There's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing missing in you. There is nothing about you that needs to change before you deserve peace. Peace is your natural state. You are simply remembering it. In this quiet, I want to speak to the part of you that has been carrying the most. The part that wakes in the night with worries. The part that wonders if you are enough. The part that fears being misunderstood. The part that tries so hard to be strong. Let me speak to that part now. My dear, you have done more than enough. You have been brave in moments no one saw. You have shown resilience in times when your heart felt fragile. You have risen again and again, even when you weren't sure you could. Let yourself rest. Let yourself feel the goodness in that rest. Let yourself know that you are worthy of this ease. You do not need to apologize for needing comfort. You do not need to rush your healing. You do not need to carry your burdens alone. Feel yourself softening into this truth. Feel yourself becoming lighter inside. Feel yourself opening without fear. There is nothing you could reveal in this moment that would make you unlovable. There is nothing you could feel that would make you undeserving. There is nothing you could doubt that would make you any less worthy. Worthiness is not something you earn. It is something you remember, and you are remembering it now. Let yourself stay with this warmth a little longer. Let it stretch gently through your chest. Let it rest in your heart like a soft glow. Let it cradle the parts of you that feel small, tired, or uncertain. You do not have to rise from this feeling yet. You do not have to return to the world just yet. You are allowed to linger in this comfort for as long as you need. This is your moment. This is your softness. This is your breath. This is your healing. You are safe enough to rest. You are loved enough to rest. You are deserving enough to rest. And resting is not the end of your journey. Resting is part of your becoming. As you settle more deeply into this moment, you may feel something shifting inside, not dramatically, not with sudden clarity, but with the quiet certainty of soft ground beneath your feet. This is the feeling of returning to yourself. Returning without pressure, without expectation, without needing to know what comes next. You have created a gentle refuge within you, a place where your heart can rest without fear of being judged or hurried. This refuge grows each time you allow yourself to pause, each time you let your breath deepen, each time you honor your feelings instead of resisting them. Let yourself feel how safe you are becoming with yourself. Safety is the soil where healing grows. You may have gone many years without this kind of safety, years of holding your breath, holding your emotions, holding your strength in front of you like a shield. But now, slowly and lovingly, that shield is setting itself down. Not because you are weaker, but because you are realizing you no longer need to defend yourself from your own heart. Your heart is not your enemy. Your emotions are not threats. Your tenderness is not a burden. Your heart is a wise and gentle friend, one that has waited patiently for you to return to it. Tonight, as this softness fills you, I want you to imagine your heart as a small, warm light. It glows quietly, not brightly. It does not demand to be seen. It simply exists, steady and warm, like a candle in a peaceful room. This light has always been here, even during times when you felt disconnected from yourself. It flickers, but it never goes out. And when you allow yourself to rest in kindness, the light grows. It spreads gently, filling your chest, your belly, your shoulders, your throat, your mind. Feel that light now. Feel how comforting it is. Feel how familiar it feels, because it is you. This soft glow is your inner wisdom, your inner compassion, your inner truth. It is the part of you that knows you are worthy of peace. It is the part of you that knows your worth does not change with your struggles. It is the part of you that knows life, supports you, even when you cannot see how. Let yourself lean into that knowing. You do not have to see the entire future to feel supported. You do not have to solve your life tonight to feel safe. You do not have to stop feeling for your feelings to be valid. Allow peace to come to you in small, warm waves. Allow yourself to soften a little more with each breath. Allow yourself to release the idea that you must always know what to do. You are guided in ways you cannot yet see. You are supported in ways you do not yet feel. And you are loved in ways you have not yet realized. As you rest with these truths, feel how your breath deepens naturally. Feel how your muscles soften without instruction. Feel how your inner world begins to sway gently, like leaves moving on a quiet breeze. Healing happens in these subtle movements. Perhaps you sense gratitude rising, not gratitude for anything specific, but gratitude simply for the relief of not having to hold yourself so tightly. Gratitude without reason is one of the deepest signs of healing. It means your heart has room again, room to breathe, room to receive, room to trust. Let that gratitude spread wherever it wants to go. Let it move through your chest like warm sunlight. Let it fill the quiet spaces within you. Let it soothe the places that once felt tense. There is nothing you must do with this feeling. Just allow it to be here. You may even feel your mind growing, quieter thoughts appearing and disappearing, like small ripples on still water. This quiet is not emptiness. It is spaciousness. Spaciousness is what remains when fear is not steering your thoughts. In this spaciousness, you can hear life again. Not through words, but through stillness. Not through answers, but through presence. Life whispers in quiet ways. It speaks through the relaxing of your shoulders. It speaks through the slowing of your breath. It speaks through the peaceful weight in your limbs. Life is saying, you are safe with me. Let yourself receive that. You may notice that your heart feels less guarded now. Not because nothing could hurt you, but because you are no longer hurting yourself with harsh thoughts or impossible expectations. You are meeting yourself with kindness, and that kindness is building a foundation far stronger than fear ever could. You may even feel a softness gathering behind your eyes or a feeling of lightness in your stomach. These are signs that your emotional world is opening. When the heart feels safe, it expands. It does not need to contract. It does not need to hide. It does not need to brace. This expansion is not dramatic. It is gentle, steady, sacred. Allow yourself to rest in this expansion without trying to shape it. Allow yourself to breathe into it. Allow yourself to trust it. There is nothing wrong with needing reassurance. There is nothing wrong with longing for comfort. There is nothing wrong with wanting someone, even if that someone is you, to say, you are doing all right. So let me say it to you now. You are doing all right. You are doing far better than you think. You are learning to treat yourself with the tenderness you once reserved only for others. This tenderness is not temporary. You can carry it with you. You can return to it any time. It will always welcome you back. Tonight, you are remembering something essential, something that will stay with you long after these words fade. You are worthy of gentleness. You are worthy of peace. You are worthy of support. You are worthy of love. Not someday, not when you improve, not when life becomes clearer. Now, as you are completely. As you rest in this gentle glow, I want to invite you even deeper into the sweetness of this moment. There is no destination here, no next step to take, no decision to make. You have arrived in a space where being is enough, a space where your breath leads the way and your heart follows, quietly and willingly. So often, life teaches us to move quickly, to solve, to plan, to prepare. But the soul does not move quickly. The soul moves with grace. It moves with breath. It moves in soft waves of recognition, where truth is not forced, but simply remembered. You are remembering something now, something ancient, something sacred, something that has always belonged to you, the knowing that you are safe inside yourself. Not because everything is solved, not because life is perfect, not because you have all the answers, but because you are meeting yourself with kindness, and kindness is the most powerful safety there is. Let that sink into the deepest part of you. Let it ripple through the places where fear once lived. Let it soften the edges of every worry that calls your name. You are learning a new way of being, a way where gentleness guides you, a way where self-compassion opens the door to clarity, a way where you trust the pace of your own unfolding. Feel the quiet around you now, not empty, but full. Full of warmth, full of presence, full of the steady reassurance that you are supported from within. Your inner world is no longer a place of pressure. It is becoming a place of comfort. a place you can return to at any time, a place where you are met, not judged. Even if the world around you forgets how to speak gently, you do not need to forget. You can choose a softer tone. You can choose a kinder word. You can choose a gentler breath. These choices become a sanctuary built from love, from patience, from understanding. And you are building that sanctuary now, moment by moment, breath by breath. I want you to imagine, just for a moment, your future self, the one who has practiced gentleness long enough that it feels natural. Imagine the way they move, the way they breathe, the way they speak to themselves. Not with fear, not with urgency, but with ease. This future self is not far away. They live inside you already, quietly, patiently, waiting to be fully allowed. Every moment of kindness you offer yourself brings you closer to that version of you. Every soft breath, every loving thought, every permission to rest is a step toward becoming that person, the one who knows they are supported, guided, loved. You are stepping into that self even now. Let the truth wash over you gently. You do not have to live your life in battle with yourself. You can live with yourself. You can live for yourself. You can live beside yourself as a friend, a companion, a source of peace. You are not meant to be your own critic. You are meant to be your own comfort. And each time you return to this gentle state, even for a moment, you strengthen a profound inner bond, a bond that no circumstance, no person, no memory can take from you. Feel that bond growing. Feel your heart responding with trust. Feel your breath deepening as if it is saying, "Thank you." You may sense a soft warmth spreading through your body, a warmth that feels like relief, like release, like coming home after a long journey. That warmth is love, pure, simple, unconditional love. Love has been inside you all along. You are only now giving it room to breathe. Let that love hold you. Let it settle your thoughts. Let it cradle your worries. Let it reassure the parts of you that still doubt your worth. You do not need to say anything. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to rise from this feeling too quickly. Stay here a little longer. Let the peace deepen. Let the quiet strengthen. Let the softness wrap around you like a tender embrace. You have opened a door tonight, a door back into your own heart, a door into a gentler way of living, a door into a life where you are no longer carrying everything alone. This door will not close, not even when you forget, not even when you struggle, not even when days feel heavy. You can return at any moment with a single breath, a single kind thought, a single whisper to yourself, "I am safe, I am loved, I am supported," and it will all rise up to meet you again. Before we complete this time together, let me leave you with these words, words that have guided me throughout my life, words that I offer to you with all the tenderness in my heart. Life loves you. Life supports you. Life is always guiding you toward your highest good. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not alone. You are unfolding beautifully, gently, in perfect time. Rest now, dear one. You are held, you are cherished, you are deeply, deeply loved.